My name is VANDENBUSCHE, and I worked on a video where a child is imitating an adult's way of giving a speech. The speech the child is reciting is the speech given in the movie Miracle by the ice hockey coach Brooke. I worked on how nonverbal behaviors are intimately linked with a child's nonverbal and cognitive capabilities. First, I will talk about gestures and then paralanguage. According to the article, socio-emotional engagement, joint attention, imitation, and communication skill analysis and typical development and specific language impairment by Brad Farrant, Murray Mabry, and Janet Fletcher. Children learn communication skills following three interconnected processes: socio-emotional engagement, imitation, and joint attention. It is said that joint attention refers to the skills involved in identifying the focus of another person's attention or in drawing his or her attention to one's own focus of attention. This is called the affective model. Imitation is also stated as being a crucial step towards how children learn communication skills and language. Here, the child is imitating the way an adult gives a speech. He imitates gestures and vocal tones. First, you will see a gesture with the hockey table. In the original scene, the coach is patting a player on the shoulder. Then the child emphasizes the words born and opportunities.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
However, throughout the speech, we can see that the child wears little, if any, expression on his face. This difference can be explained as it is pure imitation without real social engagement or joint attention, so the process towards efficient communication skills is not completed. However, the gestures are overemphasized.
One game. Shut them down because we can.
In the article Beyond Modularity, a Developmental Perspective on Cognitive Science by Carmel F. Smith, gestures convey conscious or unconscious information and convey the fact that the children's understanding of the information develops at the same time as the gestures appear. This way, when the child is emphasizing the gestures, it means that his understanding of the speech at those moments, particularly the arm and the finger gestures, reaches a new level than throughout the whole speech. But there are only a few gestures throughout the speech. It can be explained by the fact that the child indeed understands what he is saying. This is explained in the textbook Nonverbal Communication in Human Interaction by Mark Knapp and Judith Hall, Chapter 11, The Effects of Vocal Cues That Accompany Spoken Words. It is said that young children rely much more on verbal content, so the gestures, which can seem so important to adults, are less important for a child than the actual words. It can also be explained thanks to the article Working Memory by Badley. This article explains that there are two working memories, one that holds verbal material and one that holds visual or spatial material. Therefore, as the boy had to learn the content of the speech by heart, even though he has to look at his notes once, thus filling the verbal working memory, his visual spatial memory of the adult's facial expressions and gestures is not as good as his verbal material working memory. Then, at some point, the boy scratches his ear in the middle of the speech.
Tonight, we stay with them, and we shut them down.
This can be analyzed in two different ways. According to the article Beyond Words, The Importance of Gesture to Researchers and Learners by Susan Gilden Meadow, there exists, in the early stage of learning how to speak and make gesture at the same time, the stage of what is called the gesture-speech mismatches. The gestures then do not correspond in any way with what is being said. This stage is very important in order to reach the correct gesture-speech stage. In fact, children who do not experience the gesture-speech mismatches stage will later experience learning difficulties that the other children who did experience that stage will not have. The second way of analyzing this is according to the textbook Nonverbal Communication and Human Interaction by Knapp and Hall, Chapter 8. Self-touching. The boy touching himself can mean two things. The self-touching could be an adaptator, that is to say, a behavior that people use in response to certain situations. Those situations are usually negative ones, provoking negative feelings, such as stress, discomfort, or anxiety. As the child is reciting the speech, he can feel some stress and discomfort. This gesture can also come from another source of body-focused movements, a cognitive source, that is to say, it can happen because of the process of remembering speech. Now let's talk about paralanguage. Paralanguage is the physical mechanisms for producing nonverbal vocal qualities and sounds, according to Nonverbal Communication and Human Interaction, Chapter 11. According to the article, Origins and Early Development of Perception, Action, and Representation by Burdenthal, variability of gestures is essential to the development progress of children and helps their understanding process. In the textbook, Nonverbal Communication and Human Interaction, Chapter 11, it is explained that so are vocal cues. They are crucial to the comprehension progress of children. When the tone is monotonous, it usually means that the child is just reciting without paying attention to the meaning or without understanding the meaning of what he is reciting. However, the fact that his tone changes at crucial moments throughout the speech with pauses in between mean that the child understands the verbal content perfectly even though he keeps a straight face. But as was previously stated, he is just imitating without the two other crucial stages towards communication skills, socio-emotional engagement and joint attention. Those vocal changes can be explained by the article Current Emotion Research in the Language Sciences by Asifa Majid. It is stated that the voice has a structure with many levels and each level conveys a certain level of emotion.
Shut them down because we can. Moments are born from great opportunities. That's here tonight, boys. That's what you earned here tonight. If we play them 10 times, they might win 9. I'm sick of tired hearing about what a great hockey team the Soviets have. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
The vocal tones show then that he is using his vocal capabilities to convey his message, but above all, to convey emotions. To conclude, in this video, the child's gestures and lack of gesture, as well as the child's vocal cues, all carry meanings as to what and how the child is learning, what his capabilities are, and his possible state of mind while delivering the speech. We saw that, for gesture, there is the effective model, which explains the 3 stages needed in order to have good communication skills and explains why the boy keeps a straight face throughout the entire speech. The gestures then are overemphasized and convey information about his understanding of the speech. Then the verbal content is more important for a child, which also explains why there are so few gestures. Then we saw that there are 2 working memories, verbal memory and visual spatial memory, also explaining why the boy keeps a straight face. Then there are the gesture-speech mismatches, like scratching his ear or self-touching, adaptation to a situation when he feels discomfort or stress, or part of the information-seeking process. As for paralanguage, we saw the definition, the physical mechanisms for producing nonverbal vocal qualities and sounds. Then we saw the variability of vocal cues that shows how much the boy understands and can understand. And then we saw that the voice conveys emotion even when the face is straight. I will now finish this video by an open question. The compensation theory explains that when people are physically next to each other, based on how intimate the two people are, their body position will at some point compensate one another in order not to be too close. For example, in this picture, let's talk about the two men. Their waists are close, then their arms as well, but then you can see that the shoulders and the inclination of their heads are farther away from each other. When a body part is too close to the other person, another body part will automatically, based on how intimate people are, go further away. This is what they mean by compensation. The question is, could the same phenomenon happen with gesture under certain circumstances? The child is not gesturing a lot in this page, but he overemphasizes the gestures that he does remember to compensate his lack of gestures throughout the speech. That could be a very interesting research to make. Thank you for your attention.
Il paraît qu'on voit toute sa vie défiler quand on est sur le point d'y passer. Il paraît qu'on sait le moment arrivé quand l'ultime projection est lancée.